Okay, good morning. Welcome to the second day of the technical program of the 24th International Joint Conference on Artificial Intelligence here in Buenos Aires. I haven't seen outside for a couple of days. I have no idea whether it's a sunny day here in Buenos Aires. I'm very, very pleased to have a couple of our participants who are going to give us some insight into their work that makes up the technical program. And first, I'm pleased to introduce Ramon Lopez de Mantares, who's Director of the Spanish Artificial Intelligence Research Establishment in Barcelona. And Ramon is going to tell us about one of the main themes of this conference, AI in the arts. Ramon.
Thank you, Mike. I'm going to switch to Spanish. Buenos días. Uno de los temas principales de este congreso es la inteligencia artificial aplicada a las artes. Y a las artes, cuando hablamos de las artes en general, artes visuales, música, narrativa, lenguaje, etc., ¿no? Se escogió este tema porque últimamente las aplicaciones a las artes han cogido mucha importancia dentro de lo que es la inteligencia artificial. Hay toda una área que se llama creatividad computacional. Se trata de intentar modelar los procesos creativos que llevamos a cabo las personas. La inteligencia artificial siempre se plantea a sí misma desafíos importantes, todo lo que tenga que ver con actividad inteligente, y las artes, la creatividad, es en sí mismo un ejemplo prototípico de lo que sería la inteligencia, ¿no? La demostración de que algo es inteligente. No hay duda de que se demuestra cuando algo es creativo. En esta conferencia, en este congreso, hay varias actividades relacionadas con el arte. En particular, ahí se presentan del orden de, creo que son 16 trabajos directamente relacionados con el arte, como decía antes, música, artes visuales, narración, lenguaje. Estos 16 trabajos fueron seleccionados entre un grupo numeroso de muchos más trabajos, del orden de 50, con lo cual era muy estricto el proceso, lo que significa que son 16 trabajos realmente importantes. De estos 16, hay dos que recibieron, que son los que se considera que fueron los mejores. Tenemos a dos de los autores de cada uno de los trabajos también aquí en esta rueda de prensa, por si fuera necesario dar algún detalle adicional, o si no, para más tarde puedan contactarles, que están sentados aquí en esta mesa. Uno de los trabajos tiene que ver con la música y está relacionada con la fusión de acordes, cómo descubrir nuevas cadencias o progresiones de acordes musicales a partir de unos acordes iniciales que se fusionan y dan lugar a nuevos acordes más complejos. Y bueno, entre otras cosas, ha descubierto acordes que representaban cadencias bien establecidas o importantes que en la historia incluso de la música de jazz, por ejemplo, ¿no? El otro trabajo tiene que ver con las artes visuales y se titula Mirando el trabajo a Mondrian, el artista visual, Victory Boogie Boogie, What Do I Feel? Tiene que ver con un sistema basado en computación, en visión por computador y también análisis del texto que describe el trabajo, y se estudia la influencia de cómo el tener acceso a un título del trabajo o a una descripción textual del trabajo, cómo influye en la percepción de sentimientos más o menos negativos o positivos acerca del trabajo, que es una obra de arte abstracta, con lo cual en sí mismo, sin el acompañamiento del texto, pues sería bastante más complicado seguramente de percibir la impresión, ¿no? El sentimiento que nos transmite. También es importante decir que en este bloque de trabajos sobre inteligencia artificial y arte, tenemos a uno de los conferenciantes plenarios invitados, que es el profesor John McCormack, que nos acompaña también, y yo le voy a dar la palabra a John para que para que nos diga brevemente acerca de su trabajo y de la conferencia invitada que tendrá lugar mañana a las 2 de la tarde. John, if you are ready, you can say a few things about your contribution.
Thanks, Ramon. Unfortunately, I have to speak in English, not Spanish. But my talk will really be about creativity and the arts and the role of AI in that. I think in recent years there's been a lot of interest in the idea of computers excelling the best human artists. So when will we see, the works of Shakespeare, the equivalent of the works of Shakespeare made by computer? When will we see paintings better than Leonardo made by a computer? And I think this is completely the wrong question to be asking about AI and the arts. Particularly in my own work and the work of many of my colleagues, I think we're seeing something very different emerging, which is the way that AI is actually changing people's creativity and enhancing people's personal creativity. And I think this is a much more worthy goal, to be trying to think about how we can use artificial intelligence to make people more creative, rather than trying to defer our creativity exclusively to machines. So I'll be looking at that and looking at some of the ways in which research is really contributing to this idea of being able to make things that humans have never been able to make before. And we can only do that if we collaborate with machines. And it involves a shift in thinking from thinking about a computer or a machine as a tool to being a collaborative partner. So throughout the history of art, many people have had collaborative partners that they've worked with, that have supported them, assisted them, mentored them, and so on. And I think if we start to envisage AI in that sense, we've got a much better chance of actually doing something very significant. Finally, I'll just talk a little bit about the way that a lot of AI is currently used, which I think is quite dangerous, and that's where we simply defer all of our creative judgment to computers. And particularly, the kind of creativity that machines currently exhibit is very different than human creativity. It encourages us to rely on them for things like recommendations. So if you go into any music site, you get recommendations about what the computer thinks you would like. If you go onto Facebook, you get advertising suggestions about who the computer thinks you are. And I think this becomes more and more prevalent, and the AI actually becomes better. It becomes more and more dangerous because people will rely so much on the decisions of the machine rather than the joy and the knowledge and experience of actually discovering something for yourself. So I just send a kind of warning note about that direction. So thank you.
Thank you, John. There is another important event going on in relation to this track, un evento muy importante relacionado con el bloque de inteligencia artificial y arte, y es una exposición en el Centro Cultural Borges, aquí cerca del hotel, en donde se pueden apreciar 7 contribuciones artísticas relacionadas que están basadas en inteligencia artificial. Una de ellas, por cierto, el artista es John McCormack, que acaba de hablarnos de su percepción de la inteligencia artificial y la creatividad, pero hay otros 6, algunos relacionados con robótica, otros con artes visuales también, lo cual yo pienso que es muy importante que se pueda asistir a esta exposición. Se hizo con la idea de proyectar hacia la ciudad de Buenos Aires el Congreso, abrirlo a la ciudad, que las personas de Buenos Aires o quien esté visitando la ciudad pueda asistir a esta exposición y tener una cierta idea de cuáles son las contribuciones de la inteligencia artificial al arte. Está durante toda la semana esta exposición, hasta el jueves por la noche, y es durante todo el día, lo cual animo a todo el mundo a que la visite. Muchas gracias.
Thank you, Ramon. Thank you, colleagues. Next up, I'd like to introduce Professor Barbara Gross. Barbara is a long-standing professor at Harvard University and is, amongst many other things, this year at IJCAI, the recipient of our Research Excellence Award, but that's not what we're going to hear about today. Today, Barbara's going to be telling us about work that she's been involved with on the 100-Year AI project. So Barbara, over to you.
Thanks, Mike. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the AI 100 study on 100-year study on artificial intelligence. This is a project that was established at Stanford University about 6 or 7 months ago through a gift from Eric and Mary Horvitz. And so let me say first what the 100-year study is. It's not a study that's going to take 100 years. It's a study that's going to be done over the course of 100 years. The basic idea is that every 5 years there will be a one-year study. What will distinguish these studies from the normal kinds of studies that are done now by academies of science is that they will be done in the context of the 100 years. So each study will be one of a series and will take into account what's been done before and also look forward to what might be done in the future. So let me say a little bit, and I'll be talking about this tomorrow at 2 o'clock. So I welcome you all to come to that to hear more. The roots of this are in a 2009 study that was done when Eric Horvitz was president of the Association for the Advancement of Artificial Intelligence. It was the presidential panel on long-term AI futures, and the charge to that panel was to explore the potential long-term societal influences of AI advances. So to look at the successes, to look at potential socioeconomic, legal, ethical issues that could arise as we get competent machines, and to think about what people in the field should be doing proactively to make sure that the benefits were realized and the potential negatives were minimized. There were 3 subgroups in this study. One that looked at what was possible over the short term, the second looked over the longer term, and the third was focused especially on ethical and legal challenges. There were many findings from this. I will be saying something about those tomorrow. The most relevant one for the AI 100 project was that the endeavor of gathering people for 2 days to think intensively about this, then go off and in individual subgroups write about it, proved to be very valuable. So getting people to think about it, to think about what might be happening and what we might do. So from that, Eric and Mary decided that one of the ways that they wanted to make the world better was to endow this study. This study is, as I said, for 100 years, and just to put that in perspective, IJCAI is 46 years old this year, I believe. The IJCAI is 35 years old, and IJCAI and IJCAI, the conferences in Europe and the Pacific Rim, are younger still. And none of us are 100 years old, so it's a long time scale. And as they thought about where to locate this, they decided not many